creepy and weird. Sluts selling butts, them buttholes never sold. Dogs breeding like bugs, rabbits are coat hangers. Killers killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. 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 Where'd all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street? While killers be killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. 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 Where'd all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street? While killers be killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. 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 News.
Newsworthy. I don't know. But we'll find out, and you'll all have to agree with these lovely stories. Let me make sure the audio is up to snuff. If it'll just kick ahead. There we go. Oh, thank God. I did a test and everything, so I was hoping it would work. And what do you know? It is. So, all right. So far, so good. Let's get to it. So our first story will deal with some stories you've already heard, but I thought I'd weigh in. And it's, I don't know, a day or two old. We'll see how this goes. But Monday morning, I was watching an off-topic show and ended up doing a drawing of this particular lady, if we can call her that, you know. Drew it. I even sent it to Matt, and he got a kick out of it. So I'll show that at the end of this coverage that I'm going to give you. So, former Houston mayoral appointee rages at flooded Texas girls' camp for being white only. So, you know, here she is in all her glory. So, yes, she raged at Texas girls' camps for being white only. Hours. That's right, hours. After deadly flooding ripped through the facility, killing at least 5 young campers and leaving 11 more missing. I think that number has greatly increased since then, unfortunately. It's pretty bad. When those rivers flood and overflows, it's often very fast. So, yeah. Anyway, I know I'm going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a white-only girls' Christian camp. So, see, she's probably really upset with the white part, most notably, and then Christian. Yeah, see, that's bad, too. The leftists really hate those guys, you know. They don't even have a token Asian. See, they're not following the rules. They didn't get their token in there. They don't have a token black person. It's an all-white, white-only conservative Christian camp. Sadie Perkins. That's not how you spell Sadie. I think they're supposed to be, maybe it's a mistake. Anyway, said in a widely condemned video on her private TikTok account, "If you ain't white, you ain't right. You ain't getting in. You ain't going, period, Perkins said as the state's overall death toll from the devastating flooding soared, with the number of dead at 80. So there's the area. And so she then claimed, oh, geez, no one would care if the victims were minorities. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a F-K. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported. They shouldn't have been here in the first place, and yada, yada, yada. So, you mean, all right, we already know this is a really racist bitch, and she's a piece of shit, all that stuff. But try to apply some logic to the thinking here. Is she upset that Hispanic girls didn't drown? You know, the idiocy of all of this. She's just upset that anybody white gets any kind of sympathy or what have you, and she can't stand it. Yeah. So Perkins was appointed to the city's Food Insecurity Board. Huh. So she made food insecure by former Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner in 2023. So, girl, you brought this upon yourself. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. Consequences for what? Laughy, laughy, laughy. Maybe it was God's. Oh, good Lord. Oh, boy. Boy, talk about doubling down, huh? Her term expired in January, and Houston Mayor John Whitmore said Sunday that he has no plans to reappoint her, particularly after her deeply inappropriate comments. One wonders if they, oh, please, God, don't bring her back. Even before this, you know, she must have been a joy to work with. In the first 2.5-minute video that Perkins posted after the flooding, she recorded the rolling homepage for Camp Mystic while ranting about its exclusionary habits that fostered a whites-only enclave. The post quickly went viral as it drew massive criticism. Every morning, oh, no, that's not. Oh, is it? Is that like an app? Probably. Okay, well, we won't get into that. Perkins, seemingly energized by the hate that she was receiving, punched back with another video. I imagine it was like probably the most exciting day of her life. Anyway, I get that white people are not used to people telling them and calling them out on their race. Where have you been for 50 years? Now they're raising them and telling them about their double standards on how you wouldn't give a damn about other children and how there's children in ICE detention right now who y'all don't give two F-Ks about. She ranted. There's no prayers going up for them, but we're supposed to stop the world and stop everything. We're not stopping the world. Yeah. You mean there was first responders and everything to it? Yeah. Yeah, it was a flood. Yeah. Anyway, everything we're doing to go and hunt for these little missing white girls. Perkins lamely added that she still hopes the missing camp preserver. Well, it's a little late after all that when you called them something else earlier. Whitmore said her comments hold no place in a decent. I don't know who Whitmore is. Oh, is that the new mayor? I forget. Well, whatever. A counselor at the camp also still missing, as are scores of others across the state. Man, this is not really making a whole lot of sense here. Camp Mystic, which was set to celebrate its 100th year, has many high-ranking alumni from Texas political elite, including daughters of multiple governors and former First Lady Laura Bush. So, well, yeah, this broad, quite the idiot. Hey, wait a minute. I bet your hair isn't naturally blonde. So that's cultural appropriation. But of course, you know, the rules and everything. Yes, white people are totally are not accustomed to being called racist. I mean, it just like this never happens, and all that sort of stuff. And this horrible thing happens where these little girls lost their lives, and that's her reaction. But when you train several generations of people to only consider skin and genitals of anything of merit, then you tend to get this sort of thing, especially people seeking some sort of political position, which she had. That's right. Yeah. Um, so overall, the cancel culture. So I'm probably going to get canceled with this. Well, a lot of people aren't going to want to associate with you and that sort of thing. This isn't some performance piece. This isn't some joke, which, Jesus, when it comes to jokes and whatnot, and oftentimes the question, too soon, the answer is almost inevitably yes. You shouldn't have to explain any of that at this, within hours of the event. But there's no joke here. She's absolutely serious and is basically Nazi level racist. So she is. So, especially some position that requires some reputational merit and whatnot. Yeah, she's not going to get that. So, sucks to be you, lady, but you did it to yourself. Yep, you sure did. There's just not a lot of people going to care about that. As far as showing concern about the deaths of people of color, well, my goodness, this sort of thing happens a lot. Take Chicago, for instance. There's a lot of murders of young black people. But if I, as a white man, were to complain about it, I would be labeled a racist. You understand? So you can't even do that. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because, well, you just want to complain about black communities or what have you. But if I was a full-on racist, a racist would cheer that sort of activity because they hate those people and they're doing themselves in, that sort of thing. But we're dealing with an idiot first and foremost here, so she'll never understand that. So is it worth the time to waste on it? Nah, not really. But, geez Louise, lady. Good Lord. There's stupidity, and then there's just, holy crap. But, that's how actual hatred works, And she's got that in droves. So, let's see. Can I move it over? I guess I needed to put that in the other thing. Well, whatever. This was the drawing. It's a lot of times I'll do these drawings and they're not that flattering, or they are more flattering than the actual. She doesn't actually look this bad, but that's the one I did while watching the Off Topic show on Compound Censored TV, which Matt did live on that show Monday morning. So that's the drawing I did for that. Saint Ranger shows up, says, "Good evening, Doug." Well, good evening, Saint Rangers. Thanks for stopping by. Saint Ranger, stopping the world with Carlos Castaneda's literary character, Shaman Don Juan, in a book series. He stopped the world? Oh, all right, that's incredible. I mean, not even Superman did that. He spun it around to go back in time. But that's all he did. Yeah. Oh, well. So anyway, there's that one. Then there was another idiot lady who decided to weigh in on this and for some dumb reason didn't get that people are going to be really disgusted when you mock the deaths of innocent children, regardless of where they came from or their religion or their race and so on and so forth. But a pediatrician thought otherwise. Yes. Pediatrician fired for vile post suggesting Texas flood victims were Trump supporters who got what they voted for. So that's the deal. She's been fired. So Dr. Christina B. drew widespread scorn following the disparaging, since deleted post under her old Facebook username, Christina. See, it's cute and clever. She split her first name up into two names. See that? The name Chris and Tina. Those are two names. She did that. So she said, may all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Wrote in the now viral post. There she is. Yeah. I'm a pediatrician. I care about children. Yeah. Well, maybe not. A Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. The Facebook post quickly went viral after a screenshot was shared by libs of TikTok. Employer Bluefish Pediatrics initially said the employee had been suspended before announcing that the individual is no longer employed there. You see, this is doubly worse. I mean, the stupid idiot racist is one thing, but here you have a pediatrician mocking the deaths of children. So how are you going to maintain your profession? As a pediatrician, you're supposed to care for children, when clearly you're very selective in which children you will care for. As we previously mentioned in our original statement, we strongly condemn the comments that were made in that post. That post does not reflect the value, standards, or mission of Bluefish Pediatrics. So yeah, something like that is an absolute detriment to their business. You know, there's supposed to be a place where you take your kids to be cared for their health care needs. And then you got one of their doctors going on about, well, you get what you deserve. We do not support or condone any statement that politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or fails to clearly uphold compassion for every child and family, regardless of background or beliefs. So she didn't see it that way, I guess. And now she's unemployed. A previous initial statement saying that she had been placed on leave was shared by the head of the Texas Medical Board, Dr. Sharif Zafran. There is no place for politicization. The same thing, you know. So there's their whole statement. We don't stand with this idiot. We want that bitch gone. The Texas Medical Board has not announced a formal investigation. There's really no need. It's all public. She said what she said. What are you going to do? You know, her profession is to care for children. Your business, your clinic, is about the care of children. She demonstrated she doesn't care. You know, this is simple. You know, to be honest, like, oh, she put some drunken post and she was telling dirty jokes or something and did something stupid, or I don't know, she did an OnlyFans or something, you know. But this is directly at their business. So there's really no wiggle room here. She damaged the brand of the business she worked for. Please tell us this person is not allowed anywhere near patients in Texas, one social media wrote. We are residents here and find this behind horrific. You mean beyond, I guess. Probably a typo on the post part. Anyway, and also very dangerous. Please. Well, yeah. I mean, if she's that, well, again, you know, the first response she has to this horrific disaster is that. And some woman comes in with her child and I don't know, she's maybe wearing a crucifix or has a Make America Great Again hat on or something. I don't know. And you're like, oh, you're one of those. What's she going to do to that kid? You know, it's going to be in the minds, you know, oh, it's this crazy bitch, you know, says, well, not going to Bluefish. So this is the sort of pediatric clinician employed at Bluefish MD in Houston. The ethics, humanity, and empathy illustrated here is unfathomable, they wrote. Well, there you go. Yeah. It's serious damage to their brand. The doctor appeared to have changed her username and profile image on Facebook since the post went viral. It's too late. Profile pages were taken down from both the Bluefish Pediatric site and the website for Memorial Hermann Health System, which is associated with Bluefish Pediatrics. Yeah. And she's a doctor. You know how many years it took for her? She's probably got a lot of debt. She's got to pay off. How's she going to do that now? Memorial Hermann also acknowledged the controversy in a statement. We are aware. Yeah, okay, you're aware. And we got nothing to do with her. Kerr County, home to around 50,000 people, overwhelmingly voted for President Trump in the November election, with more than 76% of the country's votes going to the Republican presidential candidate. At least 82 people have been killed in the flash flooding. Camp Mystic, an all-girls Christian summer camp located on the banks of the Guadalupe River, confirmed on Monday the campers and counselors have been killed. And her first reaction, well, they're Trump people, so yeah. This is reminiscent of when they had the big freeze in Texas, and some people died as a result of that. And people taking pot shots at that too. So just stupid all around. But when politics become your religion, you don't think straight. You really don't. So that's it for Chris and Tina. Afraid so. Afraid so. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, this way. So that about wraps it up for Chris and Tina. Nope. Oh, no, not that way. Stupid. Remove. There we go. Oh, come on. Don't worry. I'll fix it in the edit. So, yeah, that's it for Chris and Tina. There, that'll work. See how I fixed that? Yeah, I'm pretty smart. Yeah, not really. Anyway, there's a lot of those things. Can't you just steer clear of some of that stuff for a second? She flushed her whole career down the commode. I don't know. How do you get there, Saint Ranger, wow, a child doctor of all doctors. What a moron. Yes. Yeah. Went out of her way to... I mean, both women are bigots. One's that full on. You got to understand, bigotry can apply to a multitude of things, even professions and whatnot. Certainly race, and so in the case of the first one, she's a white-hating racist. Whereas this doctor is a political bigot. So if you don't vote the way she does, you don't deserve to live, and it goes that far. Just burning with rage about it, to the point that she destroyed her career. Very simply. You can change your picture. I don't know. Maybe she'll get a haircut, dye it a different color. Maybe she'll change her name to Tina. Just Tina. I'm Dr. Tina. Hey, wait a minute. You look like that. Oh, crap. I don't know. Nodak says hit the like button. This is true. You should do that. Pell says, hey, everyone. There you go. Toxic JPEG says, hey. Nodak gives a salute. Pale says, hi to Toxic JPEG. Saint Ranger says, that's like a dentist saying he was glad someone had all their teeth knocked out. Pretty much. Yes. Now, what are you going to work on? Pell sounds like a witch doctor. Well, she certainly is witchy. More like bitch doctor. Am I right? Yeah. just the most obvious thing, within hours. I mean, not like, hey, a year from now, it'll be funny. No, it won't. And she wasn't trying to be funny. She's serious. Neither one of these women, they weren't making jokes or nothing. Oh, no. They're very serious. Toxic JPig says, moo. All right. Satan Ranger says, hello, world. Satan Ranger says, her sorority nickname was Wriggle Room, coincidentally enough. Was it? Wow. Toxic JPEG, Chris, Tina. Yeah, she thought that was cute. Toxic JPEG says, get women out of politics. Boy, did it ruin her life, huh? Kind of too late, though. Toxic JPEG says, haha, dub. I guess I said something funny. Hey, Thompson says, audio good. Oh, thank God. I would hate to think nobody could hear me because it would be a crime not to be able to hear this voice. Hey, Thompson says, video good. Oh, thank God. I'm so glad to hear that because it would be a crime not to be able to see this. Yeah. Toxic JPEG, story good. Oh, thank God the story's good because it would be a crime. Hey, Thompson, already bought tickets Saturday IMAX Laser 3D Shoot. Oh, man. Yeah, once again, I don't know when I'm going to get a shot to see Superman. I'm not going to be able to do it. And even if I did, I wouldn't be able to make the Doomcock show. If I did, I certainly wouldn't. One of the panelists, I think, will have, by now, he's seen it. So I'll probably have to, I leave early these days because I try to jump in between that show and Pat's show if I can get to it. Plus, I'm exhausted by then and I have to get up earlier for the Doomcock show. And it takes a toll on old Doug. And so, yeah, if I did see the movie in the morning, which I haven't checked yet. Holy crap, it probably isn't even in the, well, I'm not going to do it right now. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. Damn. Everybody's going to see it. People are already putting reviews out and everything. I will see it, regardless of what anyone says. And yeah, I know it took a downward turn here and there and some comments, but a lot of that, some people jump on it too much. Some of it, I understand where they're coming from. That still doesn't tell me whether the movie's good or not. I'll have to see it and decide. Funny how that works. But, geez, it might be next week before I get to see it. So anything Superman, I'm probably just going to turn it off. I mean, I've already heard leaks about the plot and stuff, and by looking at the trailers and other things, it's probably pretty much what it is. So I'm already spoiled, but still, it'll probably be sometime next week before I can squeeze that in. More than likely. Anyway, A. Thompson, not that 2D shit. That for poor and weirdos. Oh, well, boy, very snobby of you, A. Thompson. Saint Ranger, no, I am kidding about Wriggle Room. Good sorority name, though. Well, I'm going to say it's true anyway. No, that smell-o-vision doesn't seem to be working. Would you want that on Superman? I don't know. There are some movies like 28 Years Later, which another one I haven't seen yet. I will someday. Before 28 years from now. But anyway, I will see it. But I wouldn't want to watch that in smell-o-vision. A. Thompson, we will see if Gunn knows what he's doing in the Valley of IMAX 3D. Yeah. Gunn's a talented guy. He knows his way around a movie. I just would not have picked him to direct a Superman film. There's several. I mean, I liked his Suicide Squad movie, and I liked Peacemaker. But those are vehicles that pretty much, especially Suicide Squad, even in all its versions of it, well, except the original back in the 50s, but the one with all the supervillains would fit. James Gunn could easily tackle that. Maybe even he could do a Batman movie, but Superman. Now Lobo, he should be the director of Lobo once they get that off the ground and going, provided there's still a Warner Brothers by the time they do. He could do that. Superman, but I guess just because he's in charge and running the show, I guess they decided he'll get the ball rolling and be the director. But I don't know. But again, we'll see. Hey, Thompson, how can you live with yourself for not seeing it in 3D? I'll manage. The director worked hard shooting the film in that format. It's a pain in the ass to do that. Yeah, well, is that why he did all the fisheye lens stuff, which really looks, that's another thing. I don't think that's a good thing for them to have done. Toxic JPEG, no spoilers. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about what I heard. I think I did in one of my videos, though. Uh-oh. But it's all over the place and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not going to dump all that stuff. But yeah, these reviews of people who actually did see it, I've seen people talking about overall. They didn't spoil plot points or anything. They just talked about, well, Nicholas Holt's really good as Lex Luthor. David Cornsweet does a pretty good Superman, and even better Clark Kent, that kind of thing. But that doesn't really tell you what the story all is. That sort of thing. Anyway, Pell, will Gunn pull the trigger on Batman? See what I did there? Pull the trigger, indeed. Oh, look, it's a Rumble rant from Saint Ranger. Why, thank you, Saint Ranger, for $5. This is my Rumble rant. There are many Rumble rants, but this one is mine. Glad to see you on, Doug. Thanks for the show. Well, you're very welcome, Saint Ranger. Thank you very much for the kind $5 Rumble rant. Hey, Thompson, watch the interviews with Tarantino on shooting on 70 millimeter. Then he had to book special theaters to show it. Oh, I think it was Hateful Eight. Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah. Hey, Thompson, no, Doug, you will see it in fisheye because you don't want to listen to me. Those are IMAX lenses. I'll see it perfect. You'll see fisheye. No, I've listened to you. It's just not possible for me to get to an IMAX theater. With my schedule and my abilities and the distance that it is, forget it. It's not happening. I'm busy, damn it. No, like, I'm guessing Kevin Smith has already watched it and reviewed it. Oh, sure. And all I can guarantee is that it made Kevin Smith cry. Yeah. If they hurt Crypto the dog. Plus, I saw that image of Superman. Looks like he's crying over one of the robots. Boy, that's going to be tough to get through for old Smith. Yeah. It's like, dude, bro, that hit me, dude. That got me in the feels. Yep. Kevin Smith. The man he is today. Well, you know, the guy he is. All right, let's move on to one of my favorite news stories. Oh, what a great subject this is. Yes, you know it. You love it. Bring me the news. All right. Twin Cities volleyball coach charged with actually assaulting 17-year-old player. The 24-year-old is charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct. All right. Volleyball coach from Burnsville. Uh-oh. Did it burn? Has been charged with sexually assaulting one of her underage players. Well, by a year, you know. Brooke Reinhard. Maybe Reinhard. 24 of Rosemont is charged with 3, count them. 1, 2, 3 counts. Third degree. Wow, even the degree is in threes. Criminals sexual conduct by someone in a position of authority, with the victim, a 17-year-old boy. Reinhard is listed as the coach of the Burnsville High School varsity boys volleyball team. There was an earlier story where that teacher was also, I forget, she taught some other, she was a special needs teacher or something like that, but she was also the coach of, I think that was the soccer team. But I thought, oh, you mean the girls' soccer team? No, the boys. What are you doing? All right, guys, go hit the showers. I'm going to make sure you do, According to the charges, a man found the 17-year-old's wallet in his apartment. Oh, no. After returning from being out of state between June 23rd and 29th. The man said Reinhard had been looking after his home. Oh, I thought this was the husband, or boyfriend. Anyway, looking after his home while he was out of town, and that the victim had never been in his home and had no reason to be. Oh, jeez. So she was house sitting for a neighbor and thought, wow, what an opportunity to, here she is. There she is. Okay. When he called Reinhardt about the discovery and told her he was upset with what he found, she allegedly said, okay, and okay, bye. What a cover story. The 17-year-old was interviewed and said he'd forgotten his wallet and that his coach, Reinhard, had sent him a text saying he'd forgotten it in her car, saying that she had given him a ride to practice in Maple Grove on June 28th before bringing him home. See, he really came up with a better story than hers. That's better than okay, bye, Unless, of course, she called him, quick, we got to come up with a story. He said, don't worry, baby, I got it. The teen initially told police that his relationship with Reinhardt was that of a coach and athlete, and that she was nice. But they had not spent any time together other than for playing volleyball. When the victim allowed officers to check his phone, they allegedly found texts from Reinhardt telling him he had a lot of things to delete, the complaint, as well as texts about condoms. The victim then told officers Reinhardt had been helping him with a social situation. How do you talk to girls? And that led to them hanging out more often. This allegedly led to them getting food together and then kissing, with the teen saying they had started dating 2 to 3 months earlier. Yeah. After initially saying it had not progressed beyond kissing and watching TV, the teen allegedly admitted when asked about the condom text that they had penetrative sex, meaning they had sex. He claimed the first time happened at Reinhardt's Rosemont home about a month earlier, with the second time at the Burnsville apartment on June 28th. The teen also said Reinhardt had sent him nude pictures. Reinhardt was arrested on July 2nd, and during the interview, she claimed the boy had left his wallet in her car after she drove him to practice and described their relationship as coach and player. See, that's how they do. They get them in separate rooms, and interview them. She's sticking to the initial story that they agreed to. So, oh boy, they went over it. But, the kid didn't get rid of everything on his phone. So, whoopsie. So then he says, all right. But she didn't know about that. She later allegedly admitted that in May, she had engaged in sexual acts in her vehicle with the boy and admitted to having sex with him at her house. The boy's house? Jeez. She went to his house and banged him there. Wow. And the Burnsville man's apartment. Jeez, what if he had come home early and he walks in? Anyway, she also admitted sending the boy nude pictures. WCCO, or Waco reports Reinhardt was hired in September 2023. Wow, that's not that long ago. Huh. Well, anyway, with Burnsville Egan Savage District School saying that while it can't release personnel information, it is fully cooperating with police on the matter and will take appropriate actions as dictated by district policies and state law. Well, she's confessed to all of it. So obviously she's fired, right? I tell you, it's easier to fire that stupid pediatrician. The teachers, I mean, now it varies by state to state and city and all that. But, geez, Louise, so very hard to give them the boot, you know? And then it's like, hey, look, we got rules here. And, oh man, we can't just get rid of this woman because she had sex with one of her students. You know, I mean, I can understand innocent till proven guilty and all that stuff, but she confessed. So, and still, oh, it's very hard. So, I mean, you can't release the information. That's one of the things. It's like, hey, is there any vetting here or anything? You know, I don't know what it would be. Like, well, she's done this before. Well, then yeah, that would, and they got that on file. Well, don't you do that again. You know, that probably wouldn't be sufficient. You understand? But, geez, man, and I really daring. And she's like, let's do it in your bedroom at your home. And they did. Well, anyway, she's probably going to do some time and maybe even get fired. All righty. That's it for you, lady. That's it for you. All right, where am I? Tarantino, I did that one. Kevin Smith will cry. Wait a minute. Hey, Thompson, they have IMAX down the road from you. No, they do not. They do not. You don't know what you're talking about. Toxic JPEG. Catherine Zeta-Jones, she dips beneath the lasers. I guess I gotta go see it in IMAX. All right, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Pell never saw what is so special about Kevin Smith. Yeah, I don't know. You know, he had some money. He had some money. He had some movies that, you know, hit a chord at a certain point in time. Not so much lately. I mean, look, he had this heart attack that nearly killed him, and that did a number on him. Plus, you know, his wife's hard left in LA and all that. It's going to make an impact. So anyway, Saint Ranger, there is information on YouTube about deleted scenes in Jaws 1. Supposedly, some audience members hyperventilated for 15 minutes after the gory scenes that were trimmed down. I think there's a scene where they actually show the boy who gets killed by the shark in the shark's mouth. And in keeping with Steven Spielberg's idea that since the mechanical shark didn't really work out, hey, less is more. So they did that and decided that's enough. A. Thompson, the movie was shot IMAX format for the good scenes. The aspect ratio is something crazy for IMAX, like 1:2.885. All you lazy poors will miss it. Yeah, okay. But what if they can't get to one? You know, I just... Pell Reinhardt is looking at hard time. Hard time. Yeah, I imagine, you know. I mean, there is the thing, at least, you know, the kid was 17. He's, you know, a year, maybe a couple of months from the date. So maybe that'll be considered mitigating, as opposed to the other teacher I was talking about. That kid was 14, and you're really pushing it. Of course, you can always go back to the Turner who started him at 11. Yeah. Hey, Thompson, I would like to know the technical details on how Jaws was filmed. That movie still looks incredibly clear 50 years later. Well, they did it right. There were problems, but that is part of the skill and talent of Spielberg, was that he figured things out. And there is something to be said for less is more when it comes to horror movies. A lot of times, you don't have to see the monster in full. And such was the case with Jaws. I mean, you did see it, but it was enough. Toxic JPEG at Pell. Nice. Ha. Toxic JPEG. He must have been sick that day. They covered the volleyball coach's dilemma. Yeah. They just stuck to this. Well, she told him to delete everything, but he left the message on there that talked about deleting everything. So the nude pictures, he probably immediately went to that, got rid of those. I mean, backed them up somewhere else, and then deleted that. But forgot to delete the message telling him to delete it, along with the message about condoms and all that good stuff, At Pell says that talks to JPEG, dumb kid. As a male playing volleyball, he's doomed to turning tricks at a training bar for meth money. Oh my God. Now that would be worse. Do you think she would be the blame for that? I don't know. Toxic JPEG, I guess the prisoner's dilemma works there too, LOL. Yeah. A. Thompson, 9,168 Mall of Louisiana Boulevard, Baton Rouge. Yeah, that's not down the road. You have no idea where I am, even though I've said it several times. Yeah. You know how many hours it would take to get to Baton Rouge? Nodak Doug, what got knocked over at your place during Pat's show? You left us on a cliffhanger. Well, don't worry. The police and the fire department took care of it. A kitty cat knocked over a small table that was holding my art supplies. Some of them, anyway. Not the ones I have here, of course. And it just went everywhere. And I can't have that. So she's fine. She's just not in here. And that's what you get for feeling sorry for a stray cat. What are you going to do? Hey, Thompson, LOL. Talk to JPEG. I agree. Seems stupid. A majority of eyeballs will see it on a regular aspect ratio. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you shoot it for IMAX, but even that is like, well, they're not as numerous as you would want, But anyway, St. Ranger, alien hid the monster well. Yeah, even though in that it was a very tall dude in the suit, but lit up, you can tell it's a tall dude in the suit. But the suit was very impressive, especially for the time. And yet, yes, it did work much better, all in the shadows and everything, and you don't know where it is. You got more of a look at him in the sequel. And then, of course, these days is all over the place. And of course, I stand by, there are only 2 Alien movies. The rest, they vary from degrees here and there. But, I mean, Alien Covenant's the worst. That is pure shit. I know, there's some other losers in there, but holy crap, that was bad. But anyway, but yeah, another great example of less is more. Yeah. Toxic JPEG, he's on his parents' iCloud account with automatic backups. More than likely. Yeah. A. Thompson, yeah, majority of people will see it on regular screen. It annoys the directors. Well, he should have thought of that, I guess the only way to do it is, okay, we're shooting this scene in IMAX. And cut. All right, bring in the regular camera. Pell, is the kitty's name Cat Dixon? Oh, it was a strike. Why didn't I think of that? Cat Dixon. Oh, he would just love that, wouldn't he? You named the cat Dixon. Nodak, LOL at Pell. Nodak or Tab, short for Tabby Tab, the resident feline. Now, she'd get a kick out of it. Yeah, she'd be all touched. Pell, last monster movie was that clip you guys went over last night about the gay Blaik superhero 400 years. Oh, yeah. The Immortals. And what was that? The Old Guard, it was called, or something like that. God, that was terrible. Yeah, that was a monster movie. They let her out of that sarcophagus after being underwater for 400 years. And then she just jumps back in the game seeking revenge and stuff. I mean, her mind would be completely gone. Even, especially knowing she would never die, but she's stuck at the bottom of the ocean in that shit. Just, 400 years later, some, I don't know, treasure hunters find this old sarcophagus. Hey, look at this. And then they open it up. She's like, oh boy, I've been waiting 400 years to inhale. Oh, God. What a stupid movie. 8,000 for me. It's the only reason to leave my house to see a movie. Well, yeah. Pell at Nodak. LOL. Pell, they should be both called crap. The movies or yeah, I don't know. Well, there's a lot of crap in these stories. And, well, that was just the third one. The third one. Oh, Pell, Queen Shaniqua, destroyer of Wawa. Yeah, there's been a lot of that. Wawa, Chuck E. Cheese, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. Has Taco Bell been destroyed? I don't know. Pell, yes, the movies, LOL. Okay. All right, let me take a look at, what just happened? Why did it? Jeez, everything went black for a second. Okay. Oh, yeah, this idiot. We'll get through this one. It's not great, but it'll have to do. Do 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 do. Murder suspect allegedly tried taking out witnesses from jail. Cried once he got in front of a judge. Must have been a real scary judge, huh? A Wisconsin man allegedly accused of murder allegedly tried to hire one of his fellow inmates to kill witnesses in his case. So I guess the other inmate got out or was getting out. He said, hey, when you get out, could you kill this guy for me? DeAndre Williams, 22, stands accused of 4 counts of solicitation of first-degree intentional homicide. That's murder. Williams appeared before a court commissioner in Milwaukee on the new charges. Commissioner Barry Phillips, who was presiding over the hearing, detailed some of the allegations, according to a video of the proceeding posted by local Fox affiliate Witty. That's W-I-T-I. Witty. I ain't going to bother with the video. You got me to tell you about it. So anyway, you allegedly told your cellmate, she knows how I get down, So slide on her and shut her up too, Philip said. Now that's some devious stuff right there. It was at this point Williams put his hand in his sleeve and started crying. But Phillips wasn't having any of it. I think it's ironic that you've been in court the whole time crying, because when I read the allegations against you, it's not allegations of someone that cries, Philip said. But you're in court crying. It's too late for that. Wow, Phillips is hardcore. Witty, that's W-I-T-I, obtained a copy of the criminal complaint that said Williams approached the inmate whom he thought was being released from jail soon. Oh, you might want to figure that part out first, too, you know. Anyway, Williams reportedly compiled a list of 10 names. Jeez. He's like, what is this guy, a serial killer? Hey, you're used to this. Of witnesses and those who could speak to his character. Oh, so quite a few of them would, yeah, he's an asshole. Lock him up. So, no face, no case, Williams allegedly said. Wow. See, it's more profound when you can make it rhyme. It gives it more meaning. And so the would-be killer might have had to think about this. Well, when you put it like that, I guess I gotta kill him. Anyway, the inmate went to his lawyer to report Williams' request. Hey, can I get something out of this? You sure can. Williams is accused of murdering 17-year-old Rommel Campbell outside a liquor store in September 2024. Cops placed him on Wisconsin's most wanted list earlier this year, which led to Williams turning himself into police. He figured, I'll just turn myself in, and then I'll have all the witnesses murdered. Well, looks like it's not going to work out, you know. Citing a probable cause arrest affidavit, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that in the moments leading up to the incident, he was inside the store and upset about the recent death of a friend. So he decided to deal with that by causing the death of someone else. After buying a bottle of liquor, which one tends to buy at a liquor store, Williams began walking out of the store around 3:30 p.m. September 23rd and looked toward Campbell. Williams asked what Campbell was looking at and then pistol whipped him before shooting the victim dead. Jeez, the suspect, who pled not guilty by reason of insanity, to the homicide charge, has been in the Milwaukee County Jail since February, records show. He was a $310,000 bond. He has a, why can't I read? $310,000 bond. His next court date is scheduled for July 15th. Wow, right after my birthday. Oh my God, what happened to that? Oh no, oh, it's nothing. Well, does this add to his insanity plea that he was plotting the murders of 10 people? Because he's saying, hey, look, I killed that guy for reason of insanity. I mean, obviously it's crazy. I mean, I just got mad at the guy because he looked at me. You know? And all that sort of stuff. Because he's basically already confessed to the crime. So what's the point of getting rid of witnesses? I mean, they're mostly unnecessary at this point. So maybe I got to be real crazy like. I don't know. I just don't know. There's always some element of mystery to this, but I guess it always comes down to stupid and crazy is often a lethal combination. Plus, you can't cry your way out of a courtroom. Yeah, I'm crying. But I guess it was because, I don't know, they were talking about an ex-girlfriend or something, and he got emotional about her. It can happen. Pellel, that's the superhero's name. Queen Shaniqua. Wow. Toxic JPEG, never at an Olive Garden. Pell at Toxic JPEG, when you're home, your family. Let them in, then change family to felony. All right. Toxic JPEG says, Hey, Thompson. Okay, Doug. Are you closer to Texas or Baton Rouge? I didn't think of searching for IMAX in Texas. Yeah, I'm closer to Texas than Baton Rouge. And there is an IMAX. I mean, sure, I could get there, but I'm not. You know? If it was in Lake Charles, I'd go see it. I'd probably see all the movies in IMAX. But it's not. It's not. Pell, did he drink Crown Royal before court? Maybe. Pell, plotting, premeditating equals not insane. Well, I'm talking about the murder. The new charges on him as far as plotting to kill them, all that stuff. But he gave him a list of 10 people. It's really stupid. And to include potential character witnesses. Now, maybe those are the ones. Oh, he ain't crazy. He's just an asshole. They could testify to that. I've got to eliminate them. Hey, you're getting out, right? Anyway, I need you to kill these people on this list. I don't know. Pell, women can take down the best of us. Well, they have their ways. Hey, Thompson, they have a Cinemark in Lake Charles. Can't tell if it's IMAX or not. It isn't. So there we go. What's up next? What was this one? Oh, yeah. yeah. This, I mean, it's a unique solution, I would say. But, well, we'll see how it goes. Sometimes this is one of those reasons people say, hey, you got property, you could rent it out. Yeah, but try getting people to leave when they don't pay, you know? Oh, God, is that a headache? Woman used bug foggers to smoke out family, including 4-year-old child, from apartment in order to evict them. So they just wouldn't leave. All right. A Tennessee woman. Oh, too bad Pat's not here. That's your neck of the woods, Pat. A Tennessee woman is accused of taking the eviction process into her own hands. Well, she owns the property, right? When she wanted a family removed from her apartment. Irviana, I guess. Irviana Davis, 23, is facing 2 counts each of felony child abuse and misdemeanor child abuse? Anyway, she remains in the Davidson County Jail in Nashville on a $37,000 bond, according to an arrest warrant obtained by local Fox affiliate. TV. Was it D, maybe? It's WZTV. Davis was trying to evict a family, including a 4-year-old child. Boy, I tell you, I don't care how old you are. If you can't pay the rent, you're out. From her Nashville area apartment, but they would not leave. Davis tried to have, I guess these are friends who moved in with her because she felt bad for them for a bit, and then they took advantage. Must be something like that. Anyway, they wouldn't leave, so Davis tried to have cops intervene, but they referred her to the civil eviction process. The warrant reportedly said, but instead of following the formal process, Davis, yeah, she didn't want to deal and stand in line and go talk to those guys. So she decided she went to a store and allegedly bought bug foggers. She then, on Wednesday, reportedly placed between 5 and 16 of the foggers and released them, with the family still inside. Per the warrant, the child began coughing, had a hard time breathing, and had to be taken to the hospital for treatment. There were no reports of any other injuries. Well, you got to consider it's a 4-year-old. So that's going to have a bigger impact on someone that little with that amount of, poison. The Environmental Protection Agency says no one should be inside a house or apartment after the fogger is released. People should stay out of the home for at least 2 to 4 hours after it is released. The EPA stated one bug fogger is typically sufficient for a 25 by 25 foot room. Wow. Breathing spray mist may be harmful. Safe use of these products requires that everyone, including pets, leave the treated space and close the doors after foggers have been released. Cops arrested Davis on, Thursday. Her next court date is scheduled, for Monday. She did not have a lawyer listed in court documents. Well, they'll get her one, But, look, the people should have left. It's her place. But, chemical warfare was probably going too far. Probably. But, man, when people won't leave, and it just becomes nasty, it really starts a war. But of course, in all wars, there is a fog of war. See, yeah, I'm really smart. And blah, 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 blah. No, did that one. Yeah, did that one. Toxic JPEG. Irvy Davis. All right. Hey, Thompson, I don't want to stand in line either. Yeah. So what do you got? What else can you do but buy some bug foggers? Pell evictions is lengthy and expensive. Just buy a can of People Raid. We ain't going nowhere. Wait, what's that sound? Raid? Anyone? Anyway, hey, Thompson, I would try the opposite. Bring the bugs into the place. Bees, wasps, etc. Well, yeah, but then you got to get them out because it's also her place. She has to sleep there, Well, she's got a new place to sleep now, but anyway. Hey, Thompson, LOL, the guy in the red shirt got too much fogger. Yeah, I guess so. That's what it looks like. Jeez. Thompson. Permethrin works. You feel your lips numb first, then your throat, then your breathing. Well, that sounds deadly. Pell, unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember those old Raid commercials. Yeah, me too. They had little cartoon bugs and Raid. Nodak, I got that commercial reference, Doug. Good one. Well, thank you, Nodak. Thank you. Well, see, it's not just me. It's not. No, I'm not alone in this world. What did he do? Oh, yeah, this one. Now, this one's got a lesson when they talk about some of these interactions police got to do and why it can go pretty brutal pretty quick. It's because they can't let any of these suspects get that close to them. Because there's a gun involved. There's always a gun involved. There's one on their hip. And if that bastard gets a hold of it, well, what's going to happen. Well, the same thing is true for corrections officers. And unfortunately, inmate kills jail guard with his own gun during medical clinic visit. Hijacks car and escapes. So this is the inmate. There he is. And this is the unfortunate deceased jail guard. So a chaotic and tragic scene unfolded when a federal inmate stole a jail officer's gun, shot and killed him with it, hijacked a nearby vehicle, and led law enforcement on a several countywide chase. So I guess they eventually caught him. Kelvin Simmons, 48, was brought to an orthopedic clinic in Cherokee County, North Carolina, by Cherokee County detention officers Francisco Flats and George Feinauer for an undisclosed medical treatment. Orthopedic. Could have had back problems. Anyway, at some point during the visit, Simmons overpowered the officers, stole Flat's gun, and shot him with it. Cherokee County Sheriff Dustin Smith said. After the shooting, Simmons fled into the clinic parking lot and commandeered a vehicle that had just arrived on the scene. Geez, somebody pulls in. And here comes this crazy bastard. Oh, man, what a mess. The defendant then led deputies and the North Carolina Highway Patrol on a long chase east through Clay County to Macon County, where he was eventually stopped about an hour away. All right, just an hour. Following a brief standoff, Simmons was taken into custody by Macon County Sheriff's Office. Flats, 56, died from his wounds. Smith said Simmons will be charged with first-degree murder. Feinauer, the other officer, reportedly sustained injuries in the altercation too, but not from gunshots. This is the hardest day of my career. We are all mourning the loss of Francisco and doing everything we can to support each other and the family and loved ones of Officer Flats, Smith added. Simmons was already in jail on bank robbery charges. Now you're facing murder. What an idiot. And probably faked whatever injuries he was being taken to the clinic for, you know. The sheriff noted, adding the suspect was also awaiting charges for a previous escaped attempt last October. Well, should have been. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have taken him to the clinic then, you know. But anyway, further charges in addition to first-degree murder are expected to be filed soon. A 911 call at the time of the violent altercation on Monday provides some insight into what happened. An unidentified caller at the medical facility told the 911 operator in a roughly 6-minute call that a patient had a gun. He's shooting off in the lobby. He's shooting off in the lobby? The operator asked, to which the caller replied, in the affirmative. That means yes. He's got a hostage, the caller added a short time thereafter, reportedly identifying Simmons as the patient wearing a gray jumpsuit. When Simmons allegedly escaped from the building, the caller said he appeared to be approaching a vehicle. He's robbing her, the caller exclaimed. He's getting in a Chevy, a black Chevy car. Flats' wife also works for the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. He leaves behind her, his children, and many grandchildren. Cherokee County is the westernmost county in North Carolina, bordering Tennessee. It has a population of just about 30,000 people. Well, well, once again, this is a scenario on the case of this idiot inmate who was already facing charges for bank robbery, had tried escaping once before, does it again, but this time kills a man. So once again, the idiocy of this man combined with possible crazy is a lethal combination. So there you go. But that's the thing. You know, they get too close. But it could still happen. And wow, he must have that's the thing. He had escaped once, and then I don't know, whatever, he complained about some ailment. So I said, all right, we'll take him to this clinic. And he figured, now's my chance. And that's just what he did. A. Thompson says, look up the Thai roach commercial. Fantastic. Toxic JPEG, thanks for the stream, Doug. I'm off to bed. Good night, folks. All right, have a good night, Toxic JPEG. Thanks for showing up and watching the show. Pell says good night, Toxic JPEG. So, all right, we'll move on to this little snot. It's not all that entertaining a story. You could have at least done something entertaining, you little bastard. But just a little snot throwing a fit, really. A Florida man, well, of course, arrested after allegedly threatening a McDonald's because he didn't get his McNuggets. Well, he could have called 911 about it. That happens on occasion. So anyway, according to a July press conference from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, 18-year-old Dayton Schaefer went to the fast food restaurant and didn't get the chicken McNuggets he supposedly ordered. Judd said Schaefer then acted like a McNut. Oh, Grady. Schaefer allegedly called McDonald's 3 times and threatened to shoot up the restaurant after someone messed up his order. Schaefer used foul language. In the first call, the manager reportedly told the teen to come back and they'd make it right. But Schaefer's rant went on. Deputies responded to Schaefer's house, where the suspect admitted to calling the restaurant because they didn't get his order right. Schaefer was booked into the Polk County Jail and faces charges of false report concerning the use of a firearm and misuse of a two-way communication device. Well, I suppose the misuse comes in with threatening to shoot them. So, yeah. And then the firearm, meaning he threatened the use of a firearm. Whether he actually had one or not is not clear here. So, but the mere threatening of it, oh boy, oh, you threatened to kill these people. So that's what you did over chicken McNuggets. Boy, he really is well, if you're a fan of him, I guess they could call you a McNut, but this guy's hardcore. Really loves McNuggets. Is there anything else? Huh. Well, maybe later. Anyway, just a spoiled little shit. Didn't get his McNuggets. Had to throw a fit and all that stuff. And decided, I get my McNuggets. And the guy said, well, come back and I'll give you some McNuggets. But he was too busy being mad. So now he no longer really cares about the McNuggets. And so he threatened them with violence and death. And you can't do that. However, possible mitigating circumstances here is that he had a mental breakdown over his passion for McNuggets. And I'm afraid Sheriff Grady Judd here gave him a foot in the door to an insanity play. He called him a McNut. Well, we'll see how that turns out, won't we? Not really. I don't think I'll revisit that one. Yeah, it's just some little idiot snot. And, well, I can't be bothered. Toxic JPEG says, thanks, Pale Nodak. Thompson, I'll go and watch it in IMAX. Yes, you can watch this show in IMAX. A. Thompson says, next teacher story. Yeah, I got to get one. What will I do? What are the odds that I can find another one? Pellel, LOL. Pellel looks like that one inbred guy from Deliver. Oh, yeah. Especially the banjo playing one. Yeah. That was their first clue. And yet, boy, we really want to go kayaking in the river or whatever the hell. Yeah. It was pretty bad for Cohagen, but even worse for Ned Beatty. Pellel, Grady Judd is cool as hell. He does these press cards. Yeah, he's pretty good. Hey, Thompson, he needs to be force-fed McNuggets for 3 months, no sauce. Maybe that will cure him of the problem. Yeah, Pellel, foul in this case. That chicken is involved. Well, yeah. A. Thompson, IMAX 3D. Don't be fooled with that 2D. Now, see there, now it gets more complicated. So if you go into the IMAX theater and they just give you 2D crap, it's kind of like, what a waste of time this turned out to be. And you'll be very disappointed. And it might convince you that IMAX isn't all that. And then you might call the theater and threaten them. I'm going to shoot the theater up if I don't get my 3D IMAX. You wouldn't want that to happen because they tend to frown on those things. Certainly Grady Judd does. And that's his job. He's the sheriff. Well, anyway, time to move on to international news. Yeah. Six people accused of witchcraft, killed, 2 burned alive. Well, I'm sure it'll be in the story. 6 people accused of witchcraft were killed, burned alive, stoned, or beaten by a militia in Burundi. The official and witnesses, who all asked for anonymity, I'll bet, said the incident happened after accusations made by members of the ruling party's powerful youth movement known as the I'm Boner Acker. Boner a cure. Wait a minute, is this fake? This is CBS News, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm a boner a cure. The group is described as a militia by the United Nations and rights organizations. A group of young I'm a boner a cure entered the homes of about 10 people accused of witchcraft. Then they attacked them. According to the official from Gasahara Hill, 6 miles east of Burundi's economic capital, Bujumbura. Well, that clears that up. 6 people were killed. 2 of them burned alive. The others were beaten to death with clubs or stoned with large stones thrown at their heads. It was horrific, unspeakable barbarity. The official said 3 further people were also beaten, but were ultimately rescued after police intervened. I'm assuming that's because they had just arrived on the scene. They didn't just stand around and watch this happen and then say, wait a minute, we better do something. Boy, your options there: burned alive, beaten with clubs, or stoned. Well, I don't think anyone's going to vote for burning, but So several unverified videos, don't worry, I won't show them, have circulated on social media. Some of the clips were authenticated by AFP, by 2 witnesses, who also identified the group as the I'm Boner a Cure. Several rights groups, including Human Rights Watch, have accused the I'm Boner a Cure of killing and torturing dozens of people. It sounds like it's what they're into, particularly under the authoritarian rule of former President Pierre Nkurunziza, something like that, but he's the former president. I guess that's his group, and he's still rallying them, maybe for a comeback. Anyway, in power from 2005 until I'm Boner a Cure members, some of whom are armed, have arrested, ill-treated, and killed suspected opponents, sometimes in collaboration with or with the support of local administrative officials, police, or intelligence agents. Well, hell, then, this is according to Human Rights Watch, maybe the police were just watching it and decided, all right, that's enough. You got 10 of them. The rest we're going to save. Bujumbura Provincial Governor Desire Desire on Tuesday said that 12 people had been arrested over the incident. He denounced the unacceptable mob justice, saying locals had wrongly attributed recent unexplained deaths to the victims. Yeah, that happens, The tiny nation is predominantly Christian, and traditional beliefs are deeply rooted, with unexplained deaths often blamed on witchcraft. Only last year, the Supreme Court sentenced a former prime minister to life imprisonment for charges including using witchcraft to threaten the president's life, destabilizing the economy, and illegal enrichment with witchcraft. Belief in witchcraft remains common in many rural communities along the West Asian coast and elsewhere in the continent. Earlier this year, Amnesty International said hundreds of people suspected of witchcraft in Ghana face rampant human rights abuses, including murder. In February, 2 men in Zambia were charged with practicing witchcraft and possessing charms intended to harm the country's president. Belief in witchcraft is also common in some rural communities in Angola, despite strong opposition from the church and the predominantly Catholic former Portuguese colony. Last year, police said about 50 people died in Angola after being forced to drink an herbal potion to prove they were not sorcerers. During a 2009 trip to Angola, Pope Benedict urged Catholics to shun witchcraft and sorcery. And so they followed through by poisoning them to death? Oh. Okay. The thing about this, though, it's a lot of these, like witch trials and stuff, more times than not, didn't involve anybody who was anywhere near being a witch. It's just something you use to smear somebody to get rid of them. A lot of times sodomy was the accusation. But here they do that. You notice it's like, oh, this is a threat to the president. So any political enemies is like, he had some, I don't know, weird looking coin or whatever it was in his house. That's a charm he was using to curse me. He needs to drink that herbal poison. And that's how you get rid of troublemakers, So it's just a convenient accusation without having to go through all that business of actually proving criminal behavior when there might not be any. So how you get rid of them? Well, call them a witch. Alrighty. That's it for that story. Yes. Yes. Bloop, 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 bloop. Pale ale, foul or foul. Hey, Thompson, $50 worth of bullets over $2 worth of McNuggets. Hey, Thompson, if there was a gun at all. I mean, it's just dumb shit. Hey, Thompson, I was working in West Africa when they burned albinos alive and ate them. Good Lord. Well, did they accuse them of being witches too? Or they just do that to albinos? I don't know. Pale ale. Boner. That's right. That's why I began to suspect maybe the whole story was made up. Hey, Thompson, you got to keep the witch population under control. Have your witch spayed. Bob Barker. Remember, folks, have your witches spayed and neutered. Pell, I know that place. It's on the southeast border of Rakanda. All right, then. Hey, Thompson, witches, drug addicts, whatever. Well, you would have thought they'd have a tolerance for the magic potion drink, if they were serious hardcore drug addicts. I don't know. I mean, if it's some sort of acid or whatever, who the hell knows they're feeding that? Well, if you die, then you're not a witch. So I guess at least they're exonerated after, convulsing and dying on the floor. Is that how it works? I don't know. You see, a lot of their solutions are more witchy than the witchcraft. Imagine that. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to get rid of this witch with my magic potion. You're a witch. Oh, shit. Oh. Yeah. Anyhow, other international news. 20 bodies found in Mexico after horrific cartel violence, including 4 headless corpses hanging from a bridge. Now, they've censored the image, so I'll briefly go through it. But first, the story. 20 bodies were discovered, including 4 decapitated corpses hanging from a bridge near a plastic bag of human heads, after a bloody day of cartel violence in Mexico over the weekend. All 20 of the victims were male and had gunshot wounds. Is it Sinaloa? State Attorney General's office said 5 of the bodies were decapitated, with 4 of the corpses left strung up by their feet along a highway bridge near Culiacan. It's the largest city. Yeah, okay. All right, here we go. There it is. Oh, boy, but it's all pixelated. See, we're not seeing. But apparently they have no heads. The 15 other bodies, including the 5th missing his head, were discovered just yards away in a van. A plastic bag containing 5 human heads was found close to the bridge. That's probably their heads. The van was plastered with a banner referencing the ongoing wars between rival drug cartels in Sinaloa. I'm getting it all wrong, and I apologize. The victims were part of a total of 27 murders reported, in Sinaloa, including a young man and 2 women in an armed attack in Culiacan. The recent upsurge in Mexican drug violence is blamed on clashes between the warring gangs, Los Chapitos and La Mayaza, which are fighting over strategic drug trafficking routes in Sinaloa. Securities order. A bloody power struggle broke out between the 2 factions in September, triggered by the dramatic kidnapping of one of the group's leaders by the son of infamous narco boss Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. The kidnapped man was handed over to U.S. authorities by way of a private plane. Since then, Culiacan, previously one of the more peaceful Mexican cities, well, you're peaceful until you're not, has been torn apart by violence as the Sinaloa cartel has lost control. There's El Crapo. That's not Stuttering John. That's El Crapo. Mexican authorities insist they are on top of the violence and are working to crack down on organized crime. Okay. Military and police forces are working together to reestablish total peace in Sinaloa, said Feliciano Castro, a Sinaloa government spokesperson, in a statement. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Oh, is that the van that had the thing smeared on it, I guess? The message. This is what happens to you when you cross whichever gang they are, Well, that's too bad, But Trump, wanting to build a wall and everything, why? Okay. That's something. Well, after all that horror and really terrible people, all kinds of disgusting stuff. I don't have a light note. I think the stupid kid with the McNuggets was the easy story. Damn it. Well, I do have this one, which is more of a, if you're familiar with my podcast, one of the segments is perhaps, but maybe not. So I'll do that. Let me go ahead and catch up on some chat here. A. Thompson says, albinos are bad luck. Oh. So, but wouldn't it be bad luck to eat them? I don't know. He's like, we've got to get rid of these bad luck people. Hell, eat them. Well, now you got all that bad luck in your stomach. I wonder if they have cramps and stuff, and it takes a while, and they got to puke and poop it out and everything. I don't know. Hey, Thompson, I heard they told them to stop digging at 4 inches, go 20, and find another 500 inches. Nodak, those hanging reminds me of the movie Sicario. Well, hey, Thompson, it's not a movie. It's happening daily down here. It's bad, bad, bad. Yes, I'm afraid so. It's that's been going on for years. And that thing about the beheadings and leaving them in a bag and all that, they keep doing that. It's how they send messages to one another. Can you guess what it is? Yeah. A. Thompson again. Let's get back to those horny female teachers. Yeah, I'll have to get some more of those. That stuff's scary. And it could be coming here if it hasn't already, And in some instances, kind of. Yeah. Wait a minute. There were some beheadings. Damn. Where did they do that? And everybody's like, yeah, but it's just gang members doing it to each other and all that. And I'm like, do you really want to walk around severed heads in the street and stuff? I think it's a serious problem. But maybe that's just me. Hey, Thompson, I didn't say it made sense. I was there to find oil, not change opinions. I don't know or care what those people do. I saw them eat roadkill and realized these people are fucked. Well, the roadkill, was it fresh? Did it just get hit? And if it's all you got. Nodak, send messages. Don't they have email? Well, it's a particular kind of message. They could just say, no, you stay out of our territory. That probably doesn't cut it. So, well, what do we got to do? Do heads literally have to roll? And apparently the answer was yes. That's their conclusion. Hey, Thompson, I saw on my news feed the other day, the victim was Downs. The victim. The albino guy they ate? Jeez. Well. Yeah, I can't say I'm impressed with eating albinos. I'm rather disgusted about the whole ordeal. Just because someone said, hey, it's probably bad luck. Well, that really is. All around. Anyway, let's get to this. This is a perhaps, but maybe not story about our old pal, D.B. Cooper. No, I don't want to. No. All right. Newly revealed D.B. Cooper files shed new light on FBI's hunt for hijacker, including a suspect in a wheelchair. Perhaps, but maybe not. Will the real D.B. Cooper please stand up? Newly released FBI files provide new insight into G-Men's probe in the mysterious case of airline hijacker Cooper, including that one potential suspect was a man in a wheelchair. The 398-page trove unveiled details the FBI's dogged efforts to investigate tips from people claiming to know the still elusive man who leaped out of a Boeing plane with $200,000 in cash after taking passengers and crew hostage in 1971. But suspect after suspect appeared to be a dead end, such as a wheelchair-bound man, one document revealed. A man confined to a wheelchair did not hijack the plane in this case, the document dryly notes. I would have thought that would be obvious, but D.B. Cooper is the moniker given to the skyjacker, a dapper, dark-haired man, apparently in his mid-40s, who called himself Dan Cooper. The mystery man passed a flight attendant a note while on a Northwest Orient Airlines flight in Portland, Oregon, bound for Seattle on November 24th, 1971. The note claimed he had a bomb in his briefcase, which he opened to show a tangle of wires and red sticks. And that's enough evidence for just about anybody, let alone the flight attendant. When the Boeing aircraft landed in Seattle, the man, who became known as D.B. Cooper, freed 36 passengers in exchange for a mountain of cash and 4 parachutes. The plane then took off with several crew members aboard, bound for Mexico City on his orders. Cooper, at an altitude of 10,000 feet between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, jumped from the back of the jetliner with a parachute and the ransom money, vanishing into history. The case remains unsolved despite a manhunt, the FBI tenaciously interviewing hundreds of people, and a cottage industry of true crime buffs pouring through evidence. The newly revealed files largely follow a similar pattern. A suspect is identified. FBI agents investigate, and in many cases show photographs to the hijacking's witnesses. Eliminated is handwritten on many of those suspects' files. Popular suspects such as Richard McCoy Jr., whose children last year claimed he was D.B. Cooper, largely do not appear in the files. Instead, the suspects are otherwise anonymous people largely lost to history. An Alabama man who died of cancer months after the skyjacking, airline pilots, parachutists, and Boeing employees. But one would-be D.B. Cooper, named in the files, has entered the murky case's lore. Donald Sylvester Murphy actually claimed to be D.B. Cooper, at least to a former Newsweek editor, according to the files. But the claim was part of a plot to extort $30,000 from the editor by impersonating D.B. Cooper. Murphy even posed for photographs wearing a wig and glasses and otherwise appearing much like the widely circulated artist's conception of D.B. Cooper, a court document included in the file states. He also copied 3 $20 bills with serial numbers superimposed to match those from the ransom money. Murphy and a conspirator received prison sentences for the fraud. The New York Times reported in 1973. That's it. No big deal. What a bummer of a story. I mean, jeez. You got to do better than that. So, will the D.B. Cooper mystery ever be solved? Perhaps, but maybe not. All right, I'll clip that, edit it, put music to it, put the theme song. Boom! It's a perhaps, but maybe not segment. All right, it's not ghosts or aliens or whatever the hell, but it's D.B. Cooper. You know, that's something. Probably some of the theories is he was an alien and he beamed out of the ship and all that. I mean, the plane. But they did find a lot of the money. So His dead body's probably out there in the woods somewhere. But there's some stories about different suspects that I don't know. Netflix had a documentary on it, and one of them was a guy who transitioned to a woman. So the idea is like, hey, he needed the money for the surgery or something. Lived out his life in Florida, I think. Something like that. I forget. Oh, Pell says, a teacher was fucking a Downsy kid. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. A. Thompson, a female teacher sleeping with a Downsy student. I think he was like 13. Good Lord. A. Thompson, did DB Cooper actually hurt anyone? How much have they spent on this investigation? Well, I mean, he's committing several crimes there, so he was looking at serious time. But no, as far as we know, unless he killed somebody who found out who he was or something. But that's one of those, it just went cold. So unless you have something compelling, it's not costing any money now. Hey, Thompson, there were FBI posters looking for that DB Cooper guy here from about 2005 to 2009. Gee, I wonder if they had a lead thinking, hey, he escaped to Thailand. Hey, Thompson, I think one of the stolen bills was found at a currency exchange in Southeast Asia. Wow, maybe that's why you had the posters down there. You know, they were thinking, hey, did this guy ever move here? It's a little late. I mean, that's what he looked like in the 70s. He don't look like that no more. But odds are he's dead. I mean, he would have been in his 40s then. That's the guess. So anyway, Thompson, and they were looking for Whitey Bulger here from 2000. Yeah, they were looking all over. They got him. That's it for old Whitey. Let me check the super tips. Nope, none of those. So don't have to switch over to the other layer. So that about does it. Wow, almost 2 hours. That's something. Makes up for last week where I just couldn't live stream. Golly, I was in a mess. Doing all right now, though. That's funny how that works. Anyway, 8 times. Most likely they wanted to increase the FBI budget and post some agents here for fun. Well, yeah, there is that too. Some of them wanted a trip. I want to hang out in Asia and stuff, you know. And they're like, yeah, all right. I don't know. Say you're looking for DB Cooper. It could happen. And that's what they do, you know. Yeah, you find ways to spend tax dollars on fun, you know. I mean, the taxpayers never have fun with it. No, they're just pissants. But somebody's having fun with it. Somebody's having fun with your money. It's just not you. Anyway, thanks, everyone, for tuning in and watching me go through these terrible stories. I'll find more, and we'll do it again soon. Won't that be fun? I think so. But again, thanks for watching, and can't wait to do it again soon. Oh, yes. So tomorrow, oh, geez, I got to do my Wednesday comics show. I'll figure it out. I'll get something done. And then there's Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown. And then I'll try to jump to Pat's show. Wednesdays are, boy, talk about the hump day, huh? It's quite the hump. Anywho, that's on the docket in the immediate future. And we'll see how that turns out. After all that, I probably won't live stream Wednesday night. But doesn't mean I won't. I might feel, hey, I could do one. Maybe I'll do one. We'll see how that goes. Anyhow, again, thank you very much for watching. And thanks again, Saint Ranger, for the Rumble Rant. And I'll see you next time. Yes, I most certainly will.
Like bugs. coat hangers, killers, killing it, killing it, killing it, killing it. Nailsin News. 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 Where all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street? While killers be killing and killing and killing and killing. Nailsin News. News. Where all the money go? Ain't nobody gonna know. Do you trust your meat to take a walk down the street while killers be killing and killing and killing and killing? Nailsin News. News.